Welcome to Momivate Momversations on Win-Win Women platform, where we women gather to care, connect, and collaborate. Truly a win-win for us all. I'm your hostess, Reagan Barnes, mom of 8 and founder of the nonprofit organization Momivate. We empower you to elevate your mothering experience. Joining us today is Susan Burdick, founder of Restore for Life. And you, Mom, you are joining us. And we are so glad to have you both, Susan and you. We welcome you into the Momivate community, or Mom Unity, as we like to say. We are moms united in our passion to create a better world. Join us and become a Mom Unity member. It's free on our website, momivate.org. Together, we'll constructively evolve motherhood into the 21st century, meeting the needs of our children while elevating our mothering experiences. Here at Momivate, we answer the question, what do moms do? With this uplifting statement, moms raise up society. That's right, not just our own kids, but all of society, including ourselves. This acronym is jam-packed with the far-reaching impact of intentional mothers who strive to improve and progress in these areas of motherhood. We're not just chauffeurs and short-order cooks. As we take on the repetitive, loving work that shapes our children, it shapes us too, and it makes an impact that goes beyond our homes, because as moms, we are uniquely positioned to influence society one-on-one. Today, with our special guest, Susan, we're going to focus on the energy category of this acronym and how mothers and children share a physical and emotional bond that goes deeper than the skin. So we're going to stop sharing our slides at this point. And welcome, Susan. And I'm just going to let everyone know Susan specializes and really enjoys working with children, young adults, and their families. She studied many forms of natural health, biofield energy healing, and has worked at Portsmouth Regional Hospital, in addition to developing lymphatic restore for people with lymphedema and neuropathy. She is licensed in 2 states under a Bodywork LMT license, which gives her the ability to work with people. She's a former polarity educator and has formerly been an approved provider for continuing nursing education and for Therapeutic Massage and Bodyworkers, specifically teaching the Restore Light Touch workshop, a system she discovered and developed 10 years ago. Susan has been a speaker and resource for the autism community, as well as been a board member for special needs children and terminally ill children. And truly, I am so grateful that you're here with us. I feel like you're a leader worth following. So I'm just gonna offer some questions to get the conversation started.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, tell us a little more about Restore. How does Restore work?
Restore actually is very easy. I was a polarity educator, and that's using like energy work, like Reiki, on acupuncture points. And I studied natural health, went south for 4 years, and to Asheville, North Carolina. And when I got back to New England, I just kind of intuitively realized with one of my clients that she needed so much more. So I just let my hands work. So what Restore does is I'm doing light touch, the weight of a feather. It's a safety mechanism for your brain. Your brain will respond to that much faster than it will, heavy touch. If you touch yourself, your brain realizes it, but it won't respond to it. So by doing light touch, the weight of a feather, what happens is it goes through your neurological system and to different parts of your brain. It's called the somatosensory cortex and the limbic system. So these parts of the brain decide chemically exactly what needs to happen. So it sends down a neurotransmitter, it's called substance P, and that chemical will just involuntarily open up different parts of your body. So when it does this, you're fully dressed. When you do this on someone all over their body, when everything is open, you're getting more blood, more oxygen, more nutrients. better cardiovascular function. Your lymphatic system is working, which is great because that's how you detox. Every cell's getting fed. Every cell is detoxing. Your meridians are open. So every single system of your body is now functioning. So instead of being tight and impinged, it's now open so that it can completely function. And so this is how we connect brain and body, is because quite often the neurological system isn't sending information. It'll happen in the brain, but not sending it properly through the body, or vice versa. So it's that's when you gain abilities, and that's when your body actually heals itself. Your body, this is how the education, the science works for healing your body.
Wow, that is a lot of good information and very hopeful. I think when people feel like there are possibilities and that it's through the light touch of a feather, I think that this is going to be very powerful, good information for people. And now, would you take a few minutes to explain the connection of the body and the mind, how they are like physically, chemically, energetically, and emotionally connected?
So what I quickly discovered when I started to discover, it was just amazing to me. No matter what someone came in with, they might come in with a broken ankle and they wanted to heal faster, or maybe they were going through cancer treatments, or whatever the situation was. A lot of people had anxiety, depression, OCD, trauma. And even though they came in with some sort of physical thing, as I started to work with them, your connective tissue fascia and its matrix is a high-speed communication system. It stores and processes information, and we work subconsciously 95% of the day. Now that's pretty scary when you think about it. 95% of our day, we're not even conscious of what we're doing. Your neurological system is 5% of the day, and that is conscious movement. What happens is heart resonance. Your heart is the most important part of your body. It really governs every single thing that you do. If you're angry, you're bitter. If something is going wrong, and you don't feel joyful and you don't feel happy, what happens is that sends the brain information. And the brain, the heart actually is more powerful. It has its own neurological system, and it sends the brain information. And your emotions actually control what's chemically happening in your body. So if you're angry and you're bitter and you're mad, what's going to happen is it's going to bring a lot of cortisol into your system. And that actually is an anti-inflammatory, but when it never shuts off, it becomes an inflammatory. So this is where disease actually sets in, is your emotions. Whatever emotions are going on in your body, whatever you're telling yourself, whatever story you're telling yourself actually could either heal your body or hurt your body. So when your systems are functioning well and sending information to your brain, and you feel very lighthearted, you're going to be a healthier person. You're going to want to get up, you're going to want to exercise, you want to play, you want to laugh. And this is really hard because as moms, I know I had twins, it's really, really difficult to, they're running around, you're tired, you probably don't get enough sleep. And sleep is crucial. You have to have at least 8 hours a night, because that's actually when your brain, we have a lymphatic system that detoxes our body, but when we sleep at night, that's when our brain doesn't really have a lymphatic system. What it does is it slightly shrinks, and the CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid, flushes through and clears out the toxins out of your brain. And so that's why if you don't sleep enough, which most moms don't, you feel foggy brain in the morning, you get up, you feel like a dull headache. So it's really, really important that you sleep. So when I'm doing Restore, what happens is we're releasing in that connective tissue fascia and its matrix. We're releasing, and I said it's a high-powered informational system, but it also stores information. Well, your body holds a score. Your body holds everything that ever happened to you. So when you open up and release things, you're releasing all those chemicals. I'm going to just use an example as if a dog bit you. if a dog grabbed your arm and he bit you, this would heal. But if someone were to just gently touch it, or something triggered you, the bark of a dog or something like that, because everything is emotional and it ends up being physical, then what would happen is you would release that chemical. So you want to release the chemicals in your body so that you can get rid of the trauma. So when you're really, really relaxed, like when I'm doing Restore, you kick into your parasympathetic nervous system. And so that brings you down really quiet and relaxed. And then that's when you actually, when you get into theta, before you drop into delta and you're completely asleep, it's that like 1 second that you wake up and you haven't moved yet. Or that 1 second you remember lying in the bed and then all of a sudden you don't remember anything. That's theta. And then when you meditate, this is which is really great. When you meditate and you're you know, or doing breathing, breathing is really, really calming for the brain also. So you breathe in through your nose to the count of 4, you hold it for 4, you breathe out for 4. And you just do this really slowly. Let's all breathe in together to the count of 4. We're going to hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, and let go to the count of 4. That really relaxes you and kicks in that nice parasympathetic nervous system. Also meditation. I always have everyone meditate because, again, especially as a mom, I know my husband traveled all the time because of business. And so I was the one, not only had a small business, but I was in charge of the twins all day long and the household and everything else. So I really enjoyed at the end of the evening before I went to bed, because I was so wired up, that I could just sit on a chair and just sit straight and just relax, close my eyes. And people say, well, you know, I can't meditate, I keep having thoughts. And unless you're a yogi sitting in the mountains most of your life, you're not going to be able to have no thoughts. Everybody has thoughts, but you don't, you know, you just don't have the thought, oh, I've got to go food shopping tomorrow, and then start thinking all the things on your list. Instead, you just go, you just notice you have to go food shopping, and then you just let it go. But at the end of the night, it's really great because the house is quiet and you can just sit there and just relax and enjoy yourself. And I find that I sleep better when I meditate before I go to bed. So these are things anyone can do at home at any time, and it doesn't cost you anything.
I was going to ask that. Is this now, when as you carry out your Restore for Life, do you teach people how to do these kinds of things so that, like you said, so it won't cost them anything in the long run? And
yeah, and my whole mission is really happened because of a disaster. I was gluten intolerant and I was misdiagnosed, and a doctor gave me some pills and it didn't work. So he sent me to a surgeon, and the surgeon says, I'm going to rebuild your stomach. And I don't even think he knew what was wrong with me because I didn't have any tests. And I was just gluten intolerant, but so they did a stomach operation and it failed a year and a half later. And so I had to redo it. And so I went to a different surgeon, and that lasted 8 years, and then it failed. So I was going in for my third operation, and I went back to the first surgeon because in the Boston area, he is the #1 top gastroenterologist. And he said, none of this, I was like number 58 in that surgery. And they said, all the surgeries failed. So we're going to do something different this time. And we did. And it's been 22 years now, and I'm completely healthy. But going into that surgery, I was told by 5 surgeons I had a 1 in 100 chance of survival. And 80% of those that do survive have problems the rest of their life, you know, because the stomach isn't functioning properly. So I went in thinking I may never see my children again. I woke up, obviously, and flying colors, everything was great. Everything went really well. Doctor said it was textbook, it was perfect. But as I was, before I closed my eyes, when they started the drip and I was getting drowsy, I just said, you know, I said, God, if you want me to die, I accept that. If you want me to live, I'm going to help people the rest of my life. And that's when I went out. So when I woke up, and I found out that this was textbook and it was the best surgery ever, I thought, I wonder what I'm going to do. I owned organic salon and spas. What am I, going to give someone a good haircut? What am I going to do in life? I wasn't going to fulfill like miraculous things on that. And even though I was working with, people that were going through cancer treatments and things. So 2 years later, I actually discovered Restore and then spent the next year developing it. And then I had a woman walk in with a low functioning autistic child. And this child was a twin. And they said, there's so much wrong with this child. You do have the option to abort this child. And she said, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And when they were born, he ended up being low functioning autistic. And she just happened to go into a space, a health food store that I frequent. And the woman says, I know exactly where I need to send you. So she gave me a call and we talked about it. She brought me in secretly. She was in an ABA program, I believe they call it. And this child I worked on, he started to have eye contact. He started to speak in sentences. He started to walk independently. And by his eighth session, he was completely healthy, functioning child. And a lot of doctors said they don't even see autism now. And that's when I said, I didn't know how I was going to pay God back. I had no idea how I was going to do this. And then after developing Restore, I'm like, okay, I said, I would take it either way, however you want me to do this. And he gave me life. And so I feel very indebted, and that it is my mission to teach everyone how to do this, because you learn it once. And then you can work on yourself, your kids, your family, your friends, the rest of your life. Now, I'm not a scientist, even though as a provider for education for nurses, I do have, a little medical background there. And then, provide for massage therapists. So I know about, muscles, bones, how the body works, organs, systems, all of that. I made it so simple because I feel every single person, it's their right as a human being to be able to take care of yourself. The part I really love is I get too geek and I have to be careful, is all the science behind it. How can you actually help a child who's low functioning autistic become where doctors say they don't even see autism? Or how can you take a sprain or anything else I've worked with and it heals in a quarter of the time? How can you get someone with drop seizures where the brain stops sending chemicals and the body, the muscles just relax and the child drops to the floor and gets wounded, fall wherever they fall. And how can you get those seizures to drop? How can you do all these crazy things that the first year that I was doing this, I couldn't even believe myself what I was getting back. And I'm having doctors coming to me, pediatricians, and gynecologists, and mental health therapists, naturopathic doctors are showing up at my door. Of course, they met me in the hospital. I worked with them and they could see the crazy things I could do that they couldn't do because they didn't learn it in medical school, because I'm Eastern work versus Western. And I just felt, this was my calling, is every person has to know how easy it is. And you don't have to, like, I had to study 901 acupuncture points. I don't do any of that. I just took it and I'm like, okay, what kind of pattern do we need to do? It's going to encompass a whole bunch of things, nerve endings, acupuncture points, everything else. But it is absolutely amazing to see how intelligent the body is. You figure it starts with 2 cells, it divides, and it creates us. We all look different. We all have functions. We just build a body. The body knows how to build itself. So it's wonderful to watch how, if we get off track because we won't eat well, or we don't get enough exercise, or we get in a car accident or something happens, or we didn't develop quite according to plan, that we still can really have a great life and we can function. It just always amazes me to every time. I mean, that was back in 2012, and it amazes me to see how intelligent the body is. And if you feed it well and you exercise and you sleep well, how you can actually reverse things like autism, dementia, Alzheimer's. I can't even list for you all the things that I work with. I work on East Coast and West Coast, and everything in between, and internationally now that I'm online. But I just think people think that they don't have any idea how powerful your body is, and they don't have any idea how easy it is to heal yourself. And as moms, it's like, we're working both ends in the middle. And so it's important to realize that you need to really take care of yourself and relax, because that's where health begins. It's when you panic and you're excited and you're not getting sleep and you're not eating well because you're just so busy, and you realize you're actually going to be better off with the kids, because whatever energy you're putting off with the children are going to feel that and react to it. So even if you have a big smile on your face and you're running around the house, the children, you're going to see that they're going to get more anxious. They're going to get a little anxiety. Oh, I have to teach parents how to do this because it's just so cool. If your child is having an anxiety attack, I call it the butterfly. The easiest thing is because we have right and left brain, and then over a spinal column, it passes, crosses. So if you cross their little arms, you're crossing right and left brain. And then you just tap, but you tap loud enough so you can hear it. I'm going to go make it louder so we can hear it. But you get a nice beat like this. So first we're crossing the midline of the body. Second, we're tapping on the body. So what we're doing is that it's that rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. That rhythm, that constant steady pace is what kicks in your parasympathetic nervous system. It calms you right down. So you can watch your little kids take care of themselves. I was
going to ask, is it the child is doing that for themselves? As a parent, you're coaching the child to do this for themselves.
Yes.
That's
yeah, so it's wonderful. That's why I always have to tell parents that, because you're not always there. You might be in the middle of dinner or something and they're getting anxious. They just can do the butterfly. And they can do this themselves.
I love that.
And
great name for it.
Yeah, because it's a fun name. And another thing I always have people do too, and children are brilliant. So they'll lay in front of the TV set or something, and they're on their belly, and they're usually resting, with their elbows on the floor, and their feet are behind them, and they cross them and they kick them back and forth like this. Again, they're crossing the midline. So children do this naturally. You don't even have to tell them, but they're laying on their belly, with their hands, and they're watching TV. The little feet are behind doing this. And that anytime you cross the midline, you can calm right down. So that's kids do it all the time. I don't think some parents know that. That's the reason why, they do it. They just instinctively know. But the body's incredible.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Yeah, so when I'm sitting just like I am right now, if I cross my legs, does that cross the midline?
Yes, it does. It's perfect. You can really feel it for yourself. If you, a lot of times, if you're nervous, you'll notice someone will cross their legs, or they'll cross their ankles. When they're sitting in a chair. I'm crossing my ankles right now. They'll cross your ankles. But you really could lay anywhere on the floor, on your sofa or whatever, and just lay there, and just everything just flat beside you. And then all of a sudden, cross your ankles, and then just feel what that feels like. And it feels great.
That's neat.
It's noticeable, the difference between just lying there with your feet apart and then just crossing your ankles, which is tremendous.
Now, one of the things I read from your background was that you have done yoga in the past. And I also enjoy yoga, and I feel like they do quite a bit of that kind of thing also.
Yes.
I don't think they've ever explained it the way that you're explaining it as far as the parasympathetic or anything, but they definitely have those kinds of positions, poses.
I kind of keep my language because I was a provider for nurses, so I'm used to talking a lot to medical, doctors and things like that. So I kind of keep it, I like to give you some science because you need to know what's going on, but I don't get too carried away with it, because I want everybody to understand the biggest thing that people don't even believe in. For the first year I was teaching Restore, well, actually doing Restore, because I was in the year of teaching, learning myself, practicing different things. I'm like, oh, every time I do this, this happens, and I documented everything. Is how simple it is to heal. And I'm talking, I'm working on someone right now with a very, very serious cancer situation, and it's regressed. He is going under some new treatment. Nothing else worked, and he's regressing, and it's down to almost completely gone at this period of time. So he's just about totally done, and they couldn't. So energy work, your natural energy, when your heart is pumping, when all of your systems are working, they're making patterns. That's called a biofield. So it's really your heart's pumping, which creates energy. Your cardiovascular system is running all system. That's an electrical system, is all going throughout your whole body. So when all and they're talking to each other, because energy isn't empty, energy is information. So when all this information is passing, because it's all chemical, is passing all through your body and everything is talking to itself, it's amazing to see how you can heal. And that's really where it's, I think that's the most amazing miracle I've ever seen, is how your body can heal from things that people say are terminal. And I've had a lot of people, say that they're terminal, and they actually heal. And kids with asthma, I'll see them on different machines for breathing and things, and I'll work on them, and all of a sudden they don't need it. So sometimes our bodies go off whack for whatever reason, and then we can pull it right back just by reconnecting everything. And everything is connected, even like a vagus nerve. This is another, I'm giving you a lot of fun things to do because you're moms and you get kids and you need to know all these things. The vagus nerve actually controls all of your systems and also put you into a parasympathetic nervous system where it's rest and digest rather than fight and flight. So how do you stimulate the vagus nerve, which is also called the 10th cranial nerve, but it goes to every single organ. And so you've got to make sure, especially your gut is this is your health anyway, is your gut. What's happening in there is there's a bunch of ways to do it. So one of it is singing. So did you ever notice, like, you're in the car, you're in a bad mood or something, and you turn the radio on and you keep turning it, and you're like, oh, I'm still grouchy. And then you turn it off and you're like, oh, you turn it up. Now you start to sing. What you're doing is just stimulate. Anytime you stimulate your throat, you're stimulating the vagus nerve. So, so singing is fabulous. Another thing that's really great is gargling. Yogis go om and vibrate their throat. Anything that vibrates your throat, because it's in your neck, it's your 10th cranial nerve, so it's coming down through your neck here. So anytime you vibrate in your neck, you're stimulating all of the organs of your entire body. So there's so many things you can do at home, no cost, and really improve your health. Do you have any questions? I love what I do, so I could talk all day.
Yeah, and I want you to continue to talk with us. We're going to go ahead and turn back on our slides just to end our half hour together. But the questions and the asking continues after this. And I like for our viewers to know that, who are watching this as a recording, so that they understand why it's a great idea to show up live. So I do want to mention that you have workshops that teach people how to reconnect and regenerate their brain and body functioning, that improves all of their systems. And this will allow you moms to have more abilities, health, and better quality of life on all levels. It uses, Susan's program Restore for Life uses a holistic, gentle approach, and it helps you heal yourself and your family she was describing such a multitude of different problems, and I appreciate how safe and natural it is. And so she can help you learn the physical, chemical, energetic, and emotional connection between our minds and bodies. Susan is also generously providing a book that she wrote in 2015 called Reboot Your Body, Flexibility for Better Body Function. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. Flexibility for Better Body Function. So we will send that out with our next email newsletter, and we'll also have it available on the Momversations archives on our website. So thank you so much, Susan. Now, as we're sharing such good information here with Susan, I want to encourage you, our viewing audience, to take a moment right now to write down some key points that stuck out to you personally in order to remember what you learned and put into practice so it can have ultimate impact in lives. So you have to write it down. Writing it down is like that first gear, and that then leads to other movements. And so let's activate our gears and make those far-reaching positive changes. This half hour has gone by so fast. It's time to end our recording and start our live interaction with our viewers. So if you've watched this as a recording, thank you for watching, and be sure to catch our live show every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time so you can participate in the second half hour, where we continue the conversation directly with you unrecorded. We want to include you in the discussion. That's how Win Win Women TV is unique. We care, we connect, we collaborate.